Good Monday morning, everyone. Oh, okay, let's all just take a breather. Okay, let's take a breather. It's been like a whirlwind. Okay, we're 2 weeks into the new year, you guys. We can survive this year. We're gonna make it. But you guys listening to Author Talk with me, Aimee Russell. Dina's on this morning, and our lovely author guest, Liisa. So, you guys, okay, listen. We're 2 weeks into the new year, and I'm not trying to like jinx myself. So I'm just going to start knocking on wood up in here. But it's been rather calm. My kids are back in school, so I'm no longer held hostage in my house. So that's a good thing. My kids are back in school, thriving. I'm counting down till May, until they're off for the summer. Because mostly, I love my kids and I'm glad they're going to be home, but it's mostly for the pool to open back up because I'm not a winter person. I'm ready for my summer, my 100-degree weather, going to my pool, just relaxing. That's kind of my vibe. So I'm just already on a beach or in a pool relaxing mentally until I get there physically. So that's how my new year's kicking off. That's just how things have been going. My weekend was uneventful because I'm back in the grind of having to get up but early to take my kids to school and survive that. Okay. I mean, I get up that early anyways, but it's different when you got to get up that early and like drive and like do other people's hair and make sure they're matching or looking somewhat dignified, to go to school. It's different. It hits differently. But what all did you guys do this weekend? How's the start of the new year for you guys? Tell me all the goodies. Who wants to go first? Dina, you got nominated. You got nominated in the most.
Why you come to me? Because what I do every weekend, I work.
I know it's easy.
I know, but
she works.
You got nominated in the most subtle way, just
she creates great art. That's what she does, Liisa.
She does create great art.
I just worked. I did like get in bed, and I finally broke down and watched all the Mission Impossible movies.
Oh.
So I talked to my cousin the other night on the phone, and I started doing the Mission Impossible theme, and he thought I was crazy. So, but
Well, I got a question for you, Dina. Do you think the Mission Impossible movies are better than that first season of the 1960s Mission Impossible TV shows?
What makes you think I watched that crap?
Because I watched all that crap. I love that stuff. When I was a little boy, that stuff would twist my mind, and I loved it.
See, I didn't watch it. Now I watched Get Smart.
Yeah, but that was just
I'm learning new stuff. I did not know. Again, I was born in the 90s.
Oh no.
I did not know that there was a TV show.
Oh, you're such a 12-year-old.
I am not. I was born in the 90s. Okay.
You're such a 12-year-old. That's so weird.
I didn't. When was this? The 60s or the 70s?
Oh, the 60s, and it was cool.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up.
Liisa, participate here. What do you got to say?
No, I'm out. I was born in the 70s, so I'm sorry, can't back you up, Russell. But I would say like Magnum PI. That was my go-to for sure.
Oh, that's like 30 years later. That's a prostituted version of the same thing.
Well, I tell you what, I even watched Blue Bloods just for Tom Selleck.
Yes,
he is well, and I went and watched.
My wife met him 2 weeks ago.
And a baby.
You met him?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh my God, the 80s were so awesome.
I love that.
Amazing.
I miss the 80s.
Belinda met Tom Selleck a couple of weeks ago. She said, you wouldn't believe how good he looks. You would not believe how old he is by watching him move, look his face, talking to him. She said he's like 25 years. He looks and acts like 25 years younger than what he is, which is in the 80s or something.
I love that.
Yeah. And he looks good. He aged well, kind of like,
Sean Connery. Oh man, Sean and and Sean Connery though. Yeah. I get that. I got it. I went with it.
Amazing.
Oh, okay. Goodness. I didn't do anything this weekend but work on the money pit, right?
Well,
except for, something that would be inconceivable to Liisa, which we also started planning on what we're going to do in the yards for the spring, because we're like 1 month away from fertilizing and planting. February 14th is the magic time date in
What?
Houston. Yeah.
No, I can't understand
Winter's
that.
over. Winter's over.
No.
February 14th. That's when you fertilize, prune, and plant.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
We will have snow. So
Till
mid-March, we'll
July.
get some good sun, lots of snow still. April, we might have some thawing, but we often have a snowstorm at the end of April, sometimes in May. So
Oh,
I
I
can't
believe
relate to
it.
that at all.
That
don't
I know.
understand.
That's no.
But that's okay too. I remember about 20 years ago snow skiing July 4th on A Basin in Colorado. So
Mhm.
I'm not bad mouthing what you're saying at all. I just thought you would find that inconceivable.
I just can't even. I would love it, but also I just don't. I spent a Christmas in warm temps last year, and it was so bizarre to be on a beach on Christmas Day. So strange.
Really?
It was fun
Well,
though, but
in March, I'm starting my swimming.
Yeah, that's
And I'm
true.
getting in the pool with my grand Sandy.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
good
I
old
need to
Grand
move.
Sandy.
My grand
I'm
Sandy.
telling you. I mean,
No,
but
you're happy probably where you're at. You probably love
Well,
where you're at.
we'll see. By February, I'm kind of over the snow. I like it right now. It's great. January is okay. It's pretty cold. By February, I'm over it. I don't need any more snow, but you still have a
see,
few months.
yeah, see, we only get like 2 months, January and February. And then we had like the Ice Mageddon that was like, I don't know how many years ago, 3 years ago. And I mean, us people here in
That was in
Texas,
January.
was it? Okay, because us
Yeah.
people here in Texas, look, I've been in Texas all my life, so I am allowed to talk shit, okay, about Texans. We cannot drive in heavy rain or like any kind of cold weather. We just can't. And
No,
our
actually, it
schools,
depends on where in Texas they're from.
okay,
If
so
you're from West Texas, you can drive in the snow.
well, because you get
and
the snow,
I
but
mean,
like
I'm
central
an
down.
expert, so I grew up in the snow.
Yeah,
Amarillo, Texas gets
you
20 snows a year.
I know you were in the panhandle. I'm talking about us central to southern Texas
Yeah, they can't
people.
drive in the
Okay,
snow.
We
That's
now
true.
can't.
people from San Antonio can't drive in the rain.
No, they're
No, we
idiots.
can't. Hey, you shut your mouth. I'm from there.
I
We
know.
cannot drive in the rain though.
No,
It
you're
is
some
it,
Aggie from college too.
I am not an Aggie. I went to UT. You shut your mouth again. Anyways, we cannot drive in the rain. Like I hate driving in the rain. But we also close our schools if there's like a chance of a snow flurry.
It's
So
true. It's true.
I mean,
It's true.
yeah,
Lisa, you
Oh,
would be disgusted at the truth behind
I'm
what she just
horrified.
said.
there's so
I'm
much.
horrified, but I have to say that like I'm in Northern Ontario and I'm about 4 hours north of Toronto. And we always make fun of Torontonians because they can't drive in the snow and they can't clear their streets. So, I mean, and they're just a few hours south of us. So
Fair.
I get it. I get it.
I get, yeah, that's fair. I can get that 100.
Well, I'm just gonna say I drove in a blizzard from Houston to Alpine, or not Houston, Odessa to Alpine, and back to Odessa because I had a date.
She did.
And were you smoking a cigarette while you were driving?
Yes, I was. And
How did I know
Diet
that?
Coke.
How did I know that? I don't even have any idea how I knew that.
I love
And
But
it.
then
you're
my
all,
ex-mother-in-law,
Dina, you're
I get
so
to Alpine.
awesome.
I get to Alpine and my ex-mother-in-law says, "Oh, well, look, it's really bad out there. Why don't you just stay?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I got out of this whole fiasco years ago. I'm not even gonna step foot back on this. Nope."
Okay, that is
I
so
love
funny. That's the best story of the day. Hey, you notice Lisa hasn't told us what she's did this weekend.
know.
Oh, well, it's mid-January, so 100%. I try to get away from my computer a little bit on the weekend because I'm like, on it all day long. So, getting outside, we just go for long walks in the snow. My puppy loves it. We go on the lake. She just runs. It's amazing. So, yeah, it's you got to get out there. I mean, the Finns say there's no bad weather. There's just bad clothing.
Oh no, I like that. That's true. That's true.
I'm not
I
sure
think
if it
they're-
applies to things like hurricanes or things like that. I'm
No.
not sure that works, but
Yeah.
There's a Russian proverb that I actually prefer though, which is no matter how bad it is, we've lived through worse.
That's true.
That's a good one
Which
too.
sounds very Russian, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, it
That
does.
does. That does.
Say, we need to thank our listeners. We're like top 1% on Good Pods. We're top 10% on some of the others, and we're very humbled and very grateful that you listen to us. For a long time, we've been on for 10 years now, but we've been on podcast channels for only a couple. Is it a couple of years, Amy? 1 year? It's 2 years, isn't it?
No, it's been at least 3 or 4.
Okay, well, that first year anyway, I was so mad at Amy because I was sure she was lying to us because I could never find us on the podcast channels. And because my wife says I'm a typical boomer, I'm totally low tech.
Yeah.
Then Amy did whatever Amy did, and now it's really easy to find us. Amy, where can people find us?
You guys, that's music to my ears for Russell because he doesn't harass me anymore about Amy, how can I watch the show? Amy, where do I go? And then I got to send all these links. And it's great. I love Russell. But you can find us where I go to Amazon Music or Spotify. I'm an Android user, so Google Play. If you are an Apple user, iTunes. You can also go over to Good Pods. But if you are like me, I like to put a face to who I'm listening to. And I don't know, I'm just weird. I like to watch them. And I'm generally pretty animated. And Dina's facial expressions are very animated as well. So you can come on over to
Especially today. Dina's especially animated.
You can
today.
come on over to our YouTube channel, our Facebook group, or any one of our social media channels. We like engaging. Your comments will go up on the screen. We'll try to get them answered live during the show, but we always do like engaging. And you can catch my like weird awkwardness that Russell and I have just embraced. But come on over and hang out with us. But you guys, okay. I have to tell you, I am in a reading slump. You guys, I closed out my year. I've read a whole lot of books, but now I don't know. I can't find a book that I'm interested in. And that's very difficult for me. I have considered picking back up the In Death series that I've started with Dina and never finished because she just blew me out of the water. But I'm looking for a new book. So if anyone has recommendations, I am all ears. I will read just about anything. I'm not a huge fan of paranormal, just not, or fantasy, but I will attempt it. But I am looking for suggestions. You guys, I'm in a reading slump. I haven't read in like a week. It's terrible. It's just terrible. But speaking of reading and writing and recommendations, let's get Liisa talking about her book and her writing journey and how it all came about. So I'm going to let Dina and Russell take it away. So you guys, the floor is yours.
So I guess I'm going to start it off, Russell. So your new book is titled Water for Weary Souls. Is that right?
Yeah, like Water for Weary Souls. Mm-hmm.
So, well, what was the premise behind, what was the impetus, I guess, I want to say, that made you want to tell this story?
Right. Well, I'm Finnish Canadian, and I grew up in a really Finnish community. Like for years, I thought everyone spoke Finnish. I didn't know. And then I went to school and I'm like, oh, apparently there's lots of other Finnish or different languages and cultures in our town. So I've always been fascinated with my Finnish history. And so this story actually came out of reading a book called Defiant Sisters by a researcher called Barbara Lindstrom. And she was writing about my hometown in the Depression and what the women were doing. And I thought, oh, that's really interesting. And I'm just like, research is usually kind of dry and it was interesting to me. And then I came across some of the stories that, my parents didn't tell me about, things like some of the women owned boarding houses. Yeah, sure. They worked as domestics. Sure. And then some of them had, they ran brothels. That's not a story my mom told me about. Some of them were bootleggers. That caught my attention. And then I'm immediately like, okay, now I've got some characters in mind. Let's get this story going. And it was just so fun to write about this time period in history in Northern Ontario with my Finnish roots, but also with some kind of quirky characters. And at the heart of it is a mystery, which is something I wanted to explore.
Well, the book blends mystery, historical fiction, and emotional family drama. How do you balance the genre expectations with the story you wanted to tell?
Yeah, it's a great question because I actually started thinking I was going to write a mystery. That was kind of in my head. I'm going to write a mystery. And then, like previously, I've written historical literary fiction. So as I started writing my mystery, I realized, okay, this is actually kind of more a historical literary piece with a mystery at its heart. So I just went with it. I decided I'm going to just bring in some mystery elements. So it's not a hardcore mystery in that sense, but there are elements of that, and just lean into what I love, which is the historical fiction. So there's a nice blend of it, and playing with narrative voice and that kind of thing. I think you have to experiment, try new things and see how it goes. And I'm really pleased with how it turned out. But for sure, at the beginning, I was like, how is this going to go? As one does.
Well, was there a character that was especially hard to write or fully understand, or did you just know them?
No, I think it was more that I really had fun with them. So, for instance, there's one woman named Rova Rosa, which means Madam Rose, and she is a Finnish woman. She is sort of mid-age. She's tough. She reminded me of moms that I knew growing up, my friends' moms, who were kind of strict and didn't say too much, but were really like protective. And she was, kind of tough as nails. And I kind of leaned into her because I thought, oh, she is good. Like she's this woman. She's not taking anything from anybody, and she's protective of her girls. And she's, if anyone's going to be thrown out of the boarding house or out of the brothel, it's going to be by her hands, that kind of woman. So it's more that I was having fun creating characters that, they're not based on anyone in particular, but had sort of the nuances of the people I had observed as I was growing up, and sort of that stoicism that Finns are known for. So yeah, not difficult, more just playful, I think.
Well, how do you decide how much historical detail to give without feeling like you're just like throwing all of this information at readers?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest problems with historical writing, or I should say historical fiction, is author. Like, I'm a book coach, so I work with a lot of authors, and they want to write about everything that they've learned because it's fascinating to them. But the reader doesn't want that, right? The reader wants to know about character. They want to know what's happening next. They want to turn the page. They don't want to have information dumps about some historical time period. So I do a ton of research. I make sure I understand the period. I understand what's going on. And then I, have to pull back when I'm writing because I need to understand it. I need to have those references, but I don't want to have a ton of information there that readers will just be like, okay, skip this paragraph. It's too much. So the focus really should be on story and on character development rather than on all the history, even though I love it so much.
Well, going back to the history you found out, what do you think was the most surprising thing? That there were women who were running brothels, or that there were women who were bootleggers, or something completely unrelated to that?
Yeah, well, I think that was part of it because, I understood that Sudbury it's a mining town. And so in the 30s, it was still just a brand new town, like was just incorporated in 1930. And I understood that people were struggling. And there was a lot of information I had already about sort of the Depression. We've all kind of grown up with understanding aspects of that. So definitely learning more specifically about Finnish women and immigrants was interesting and a little bit eye-opening because I just didn't quite understand what their roles were. And women's roles were limited at the time period. So, I'm not surprised that they were doing things to make sure that they could survive, as anyone would. But I also thought it was interesting to see the connection between now and then, right? Like the immigration experience, that idea that folks are really struggling and just trying to figure out a way to keep going. And so, I saw a lot of parallels, even though I was writing about the 30s. I thought, oh, we see this in our own lives, in our own communities, people struggling just in maybe different ways.
Almost 100 years later.
Yeah. Crazy, right? Yeah. Still the same issues keep popping up. We think we'll learn from history, but do we? I'm not sure that we do.
Well, let me ask you from an author point of view, are you a pantser or a plotter?
Oh, that's such a good question because I have been all the things. I've been a pantser and realized that it works, but it also takes a very long time because you have to go back and do a lot of revision. And I've been a really strict plotter once and realized, oh, that's too constricting. And I feel like constrained by that plot and just didn't feel like it was flowing. So now I'm sort of in between. I don't know, what do people call that?
Pantsing plotter.
Yeah, pantsing plotter. There's all kinds of different hybrid words for it. And that works for me. Now I really make sure I do my research. I have an outline and but a flexible one. So as I'm writing, things will change. I'll go back to my outline, tweak it, and move on. So I feel like it's that nice balance between knowing where you're headed, but allowing yourself to veer off the road and see what that looks like, and then make another decision if I need to.
Yeah. Well, I find Aimee talks about the book that I wrote, but that I haven't.
Aimee loves the book you wrote.
I know. I didn't want to say anything because now I'm going to get started on this rant.
I wasn't gonna say anything. I was gonna give you a day off of me talking shit about it. I was.
Because she loves it.
Well, my thing was with the pantsing plotting, I had like an overall idea, and then I just in 3 weeks did 80,000 words.
Yeah.
And that's like not normal. And I know that.
Yeah.
So, but it was just like, it was definitely a pantsing situation completely by the seat of my pants. So, this is your second historical novel. Yeah. What changed in the process between the first and the second? Which one did you plot out and which one did you pretty much pants?
Yeah. So this is the second historical and it's the third book. The first book was creative nonfiction and the story was given to me. It was my dad's story. He was a Finnish merchant marine sailor imprisoned in a Nazi concentration camp in Poland. So he gave me the story. I just had to learn how to tell it. So that was one. And then the first historical novel, that one I wrote as one time period, 1939, the war between Finland and Russia was called the Winter War. A young woman who's her father's gone off to war. She's in charge of her sisters. And that story I told from beginning to the end. And then when I got to the end, I realized, this woman keeps revisiting me as an older woman living in Northern Ontario. Like she wouldn't leave me alone. I needed to go back and integrate her story. So then I had two timelines with the historical 1939, then a 1980 version. And then I was at a writing camp with Gail Anderson Dargatz, who's a very famous Canadian writer. And she said, Lisa, no, you don't have two storylines. You have three and you need to braid them. And so that's when I'm like, okay. So now I have the sort of middle years and marriage years, and I had to learn how to braid them. So it was a real learning process to write that book. And then when it came to like Water for Weary Souls, I think having done that, I had a better sense of what I wanted to do here. It's a very different story, very different structure, but I felt more confident in being able to pull together different threads and figure out how to do that. So Sisu's Winter War was definitely a place where I could experiment and try new things and learn a lot about structure, especially.
Well, did you weave parts of Finnish folklore and values into the story?
Yeah, always. I'm always fascinated by that Finnish character. I don't know if you're familiar with the word Sisu. Is that something you've heard of? Maybe not.
Yeah, actually, one of my authors published a book 15 years ago living on Sisu, but I never knew what it was.
Oh, okay. So Sisu is a cultural concept that doesn't have a English translation. So it's a bit hard to describe, but it's like courage, strength, determination, like Americans might say grit. But it's like beyond that. It's like where grit ends is where Sisu begins. It's that place where like things you don't anticipate that things are going to go well, or you don't see the end in sight, and you just dig really deep. And I love that concept so much. I use it in my own life. I think we all have Sisu. Like it's a Finnish idea, but I think we all have it within ourselves. And I talk about it a lot. And I think all my characters they have it sometimes, like in this case with Essie, the protagonist, she needs to like access it. You know, she sees it in her parents, she sees it in her father, she sees that they have this strength and determination, and she, when her own sister Hannah dies, she needs to access her inner sister Sisu to keep going. And so that's one of those key concepts that I've grown up with my whole life, understanding that it's part of our Finnish DNA. And it keeps coming up, as you know, writers know, they return to a lot of these ideas over in different stories and with different characters. And I keep returning to this idea of Sisu because I think it's what we all need right now. Let's be honest.
Yeah, well, I think in Texas we call it gumption.
Yeah, gumption. Yeah. I think that's probably getting close to it. I think you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think gumption is like it's a real go getter attitude,
Get up
right?
and
Like,
go and
just
get it done.
Get it done, regardless of other circumstances. Just keep going. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So, well, what conversations do you hope to have with readers after they finish Water for Weary Souls?
Yeah, a couple of things. So it really is a book about relationships between mothers and daughters and sisters. There's an element, like one of the key questions I had was at the beginning was, how well do we really know one another? Right? Like the two sisters in the story have grown up together. They're very close. They live together. They've moved from their farming community to the city. And now they're living in this boarding house that is also a brothel. And, you know, they're really close. And it turns out that they haven't been as truthful with each other. And I always wonder that, like, we all kind of keep things to ourselves, whether it's to protect somebody else, whether it's because we have embarrassment about something, whether it's like we're worried about the implications of what we say. So I think that's one of the central questions. And then just that whole idea of the search for truth and justice. Essie is determined to get justice for her sister, and she needs that Sisu to drive her forward and figure out what happened. So at the heart, it is a mystery, but it's also about these really important family relationships and, you know, finding the truth within oneself and others.
Well, if you could sit down with your character Essie in real life and have a conversation, what's the first question you would ask her?
Oh, before or after the story starts? That's a different questions, right? That would be different questions. So I think if it was after the story had finished, like even in my mind as a writer, I've been thinking, okay, what's next for her? Because sometimes when you finish a book, you're done it, right? The story is done, off they go, they live their fictional life, and you're done. And part of me keeps coming back to her and wondering, where are you now? Like, you're a different person than when this story started. You are now on your own. You're independent. You have, you know, solved this crime. That's not a spoiler, I guess. and now what's on offer for her? Because she's still living in the depression. She still has a mother with mental health issues. And she's a woman in the 30s. It's not like she has a lot of options. So I do keep coming back to that. So that's the conversation I would have. Like, okay, Essie, what's next? What are you going to do? And part of me thinks, oh, that might be another book. We'll see.
Well, what advice would you give to writers trying to infuse culture and truth and heritage into fiction without it feeling forced or preached?
Yeah. Well, the first one is research, of course. Lots and lots of reading. Know the time period intimately. But then when you're writing, I think the first draft is less important. Like, just write it. Just write beginning to end. And then go back and look for those places where you get out of the narrative and into sort of that explanatory place where you're, you know, a paragraph long about something. That's your red flag. Okay, take that out, delete, move it over, or maybe parse it, put a line here or there throughout action and dialogue and other things so that it feels integrated and not like it's just like, you know, information bombing somebody. So the first draft, don't worry too much about it, but definitely once you get into your next drafts, you have to pay attention to what do I need here, and what is me telling the reader everything I know about the topic, and what is necessary for the story, and that will help the reader understand what's going on. So yeah, it's it's back to that old kill your darlings kind of idea. You know, you have to be a little ruthless in later drafts.
Well, what's next for you? Another historical novel or something entirely different, do you think?
Dean, I have so many projects on the go. So I have 2 historical novels that are on my laptop. One is done, quote unquote done. One is drafted and is needs work. So I'm still working on it. But what's more coming up more closely is a cozy mystery series. That is, the first 2 books are coming out in the spring of next year, and the third one probably the fall of next year. And they're called the Hygge House Cozy Mystery series. And I had so much fun writing those. They still have a Nordic twist. They still have like references to Sweden and Denmark and Finland and Norway and you know, sort of that kind of cultural edge, but they're just delightful, fun, quaint town, small, like amateur sleuth kind of mysteries. So I like to have a couple different projects happening at the same time because I can kind of float between them. And then sometimes, like now, I have a lot of things that I have to finish for next year, and then it gets a little overwhelming. So I'm not recommending that necessarily, but it's how I work.
Yeah, evidently I like to have a lot of irons in the fire too.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So good.
You have anything you want to ask?
I'm dying to ask questions. How do you change your writing to write a cozy mystery?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you do that?
Yeah. Well, I think that's a great question, but I am a person who can go from thing to thing to thing. And I don't like a day to be too solidly one thing. Like I will have, you know, I'll work on writing later in the afternoon. I'll have client work in the morning. I'm a person who can kind of like compartmentalize. Okay, for this amount of time, I'm doing this, and then I can switch gears, and that actually keeps me really creative and like ready to work. Whereas if I spent like 8 hours writing, the next day I won't be able to write at all. I'll just be like, can't even do it. So going from historical fiction to cozy was really fun because first of all, I didn't have to do much research. So I just shaved off a couple years, which was amazing. And then what happened with this one is I'd gone to a writing retreat and I knew in my mind I wanted to write a series and I wanted to write a genre series. And I was thinking romance. And then I realized, oh, I don't actually read much romance. Like I'll watch it, but I don't really read much. And so that's not really great. So by the end of the writing retreat, I was driving home. And it was probably a 6-hour drive. And I don't know about you, but when I'm driving, ideas just come to me and they just started to download. And I started recording my voice on a phone app because I thought I can't pull over and write this down. I've got to keep driving home. So I was recording my voice and this whole cozy mystery series just downloaded, which is an unusual thing for me. Like I usually start
that's
with
a great
research.
story.
Yeah, it's just you just never know, right? But historical fiction doesn't happen that way for me. But for the cozy, it just came to me. And by the time I got home, I'm like, I knew what the story was. I knew who the characters were. I could picture this town. I knew what the murder was. And I just started immediately. And so, yeah, it's that going back and forth, you really do switch gears. You switch energies a little bit. But I'm sort of used to that. And I was a high school teacher for a long time. So I'm kind of used to working in like 75-minute blocks where you're like, okay, this class, grade 12s, and then grade 9s, and then whatever. So there's a new energy with every, blocks of time working with them. So I think that's been trained me, I guess, to be able to work with these blocks.
Windshield time is like, that's like, I don't know, like fuels everything. I get business ideas. I got story ideas.
Didn't you write your novel some point while you were driving back from Alpine?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. I remember
the entire 7-book series plotted out on a trip. I went from Houston to San Angelo, I think, and then back to. And I did a whole big plot when I got turned around in Austin. I hate driving in Austin.
You needed that though, so that you could do.
I completely forgot to turn on the radio, and the kids never said anything.
Yeah.
So like
poor kids.
And when I get my middle son out of the car, then I hand my oldest son a piece of, a notebook, and I say, all right, write these things down, the bullet points of it. And he's kind of looking at me like, you're a freak. So,
yeah, you're his mom. It's good.
He thinks I'm a freak anyway.
Amazing. Yeah, road trip is amazing for ideas. Like it's just so good. You don't have anything else
And
to
not
do.
just writing ideas. Not just writing ideas. I mean, I've thought of so many different, projects to do, which, and Aimee just, said, "Oh my God, I had an idea." And she's like, "Oh God, what?"
Yeah. Aimee doesn't have those ideas on road trips. She's freaking on road trips. That's what Aimee does. Okay, I got to ask you the question of the month. I've been asking this to every author.
Okay.
We're like 50-50 authors being able to answer. Okay. In dark romance, fans actually have tattooed on their bodies quotes from books or sometimes the covers of the books. What would one of your fans from this book tattoo on their body? What would be the thing? What would be
What
the
would be the
quote or the
thing?
phrase, right? Aimee, did I get that better?
What would be the
Yes.
phrase? That's such a good question. I think actually it wouldn't be a quote. I think it would be that word that is actually already tattooed on a lot of people's arms, and it's Sisu. It just reminds you about that strength. And
Ooh, I like
yeah,
that answer.
Sisu is
That may be the
actually,
best answer yet.
I feel like that's the thing. Like, and I know a lot of people with that word on their arm or somewhere else on their body. Like it's a thing. So I feel like, yeah, that's what they take away.
And it sounds a lot better than gumption.
Yeah, I don't like the word gumption.
It sounds
I've
so
never-
nasty, doesn't it?
I've
What did
never
they-
used that word. I've never
Yeah, it's like
used
the
that
word hunker down or the phrase.
Amazing.
That's what they use to
Oh, I love
describe in
that
the Houston
phrase.
area when you're hit by a hurricane. That's what you
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
I never
Instead
liked
of
that
shelter in
word.
place, it was hunker down.
I love
Yeah, I don't like it.
hunker down. You done parked at the North 40 up yonder
I
around
hate that.
to the spigot. I mean, hell, I could go on. I love
I
those.
wish you
That's an actual
wouldn't.
conversation I had with my ex-father-in-law.
I mean, I'm just
You're
saying,
gonna
I've had
hunker
that
down?
conversation.
I didn't go in the back 40. Yeah, exactly.
It's
It
just
really
all-
was. I'm not kidding.
I love those kinds of, but like gumption, I don't know. Okay, so okay, I'm gonna say this, and I know you guys are gonna give me hell, but we're all friends, so I'm gonna say it. Gumption just makes me think of Forrest Gump. I don't know why,
Oh, no,
but it does. It makes me think of gumption, Forrest Gump, like, and then I go to Tom Hanks. Like, I don't know. So I've never used the word.
You're just
gumption.
like Michael Scott of The Office.
I mean, I guess. I guess.
I never watched The Office.
Oh, so good.
That's a sin. That's a sin.
Oh, but the British, you need to watch the British version. I mean, the American version is amazing, but the British version is so funny too. So good.
I'm telling. There's just, yeah, but I don't know. It just makes me think of that.
Okay, Lisa, what book are you reading right now?
Ooh, you know what? I just started. I used to read these books when I was a kid all the time, and I haven't for decades. So I thought this is a good time to jump back in. So I'm reading The Murder at the Vicarage by Agatha Christie, 1930. I'm
Okay,
like,
that's very
okay,
cool. I
that's
love
fun.
Agatha
Yeah, like I
Christie.
just started
Yes.
it last night, actually. But I just finished. Everyone on this train is a suspect. I can't remember the author's name.
Oh,
Set in Australia. The whole thing happens on a train. All the people on the train are murder mystery authors, and it's kind of like a little convention. And some of the people I think are like fans.
It's like
or
the
whatever.
Orient Express book.
Yeah, but it's in
by
Australia.
Agatha Christie.
And
Yes.
so it was really fun. And the voice, the narrative voice was really fun. So there was a book right before it too. But I forgot the name of it, but also something about everyone is a suspect. But yeah, so I'm definitely going to pick up book 1 now that I've read book 2 because I had so much fun reading it.
nice. I like it. I like it.
What are you reading, Russell?
One of
Oh,
those books
he
you
was
always
ready.
wonder, The Romans, which is a book about the 3,000 year of the
Romans.
the Roman civilization. That's my kind of stuff, as you know.
I would not. I mean, okay, because I know you, I would have pegged to that. But I
Right.
also like, okay, well, I'm going to ask Lisa because she barely knows you. Lisa, if you were to give Russell a genre that you think he would read to
Mhm.
like de-stress just for pure enjoyment, what genre do you think it would be?
Ooh, to de-stress.
Yeah, just, for fun. Not to like, and not to like
Yeah.
enlighten or
Yeah.
anything like that. Just straight up fun.
Yeah. Then I think you probably need to go with a cozy. I just think they're fun. There's a puzzle.
Hmm.
There's like it's lighthearted, no stress. You're not going to contemplate all the world's issues while you're reading. You're just going to deep dive into it and just be like, this is pleasant.
Right. See, I would have thought that he enjoys psychological thrillers because that's what he
Ooh.
writes. No, he likes shoot 'em up space opera fantasies.
Okay.
I never would have pegged him as a fantasy lover. It
Amazing.
still
I would have
shocks
said
me.
dark romance.
Oh, he's,
No, that's
he's
an
scared to read
intellectual.
those.
That's my whole interest in that is an intellectual comment on
Yeah.
our current civilization. It just blows my mind. Did you know, Lisa, that dark romance is taking up 80% of the fiction book purchases in America right now?
Wow.
It's stunning.
I was gonna say it's
So
taking
why
up
is
50%
that?
of your brain's bandwidth, right?
Well, he's still learning about the romance genre for sure. But no, it is. But I mean, I don't know. I learned something new about Russell, and it's more of like I'm in awe because I never would have pegged you for that, like at all. Which is like it's just fascinating.
Because I'm
to
a
me.
nerd. I'm
Hey,
at heart, I'm a nerd.
Like
I'm
Russell, do
embrace
you like
it.
that, like Hitchhiker's Guide for the Galaxy, that whole kind of stuff?
I do, but
Yeah.
I'm more into the real shoot 'em up
Okay.
space, like the expanse.
Yeah.
Y-
Okay.
Right?
Interesting.
Right? I'm
Who
telling
knew?
you. It's all interesting. Interesting 100%. I never would have pegged it. But Lisa, this has been such a just fun conversation. And I think it's what I needed to get through my week. Because, like I said, I'm no longer held hostage by my children. So it's wonderful. So I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to come and hang out and talk with all of us. And Dina for getting up early. Oh, my goodness.
No,
It's just
thank
been
you.
so much fun. Oh, absolutely. You are welcome back anytime that you finish all your irons in the fire. You are welcome back anytime. But we guys, we hope that you all have a fantastic Monday, a great rest of your week. And until next Monday, bye for now, everybody.